Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are having a great day today. Today's video is going to be a Sephora sales recommendation video. I have a bunch of products here that are mostly exclusive to Sephora and their own brand's website. I didn't want to include things that you could also get at Ulta because a lot of the things you can get at Ulta either go on sale a little bit more often, or I just think Ulta has a better point system and like better coupons for a lot of things. So I didn't include those, but these are all the products from Sephora that I like, that I would recommend, and that I think are worth purchasing if you want to, if you are missing something in your collection, or if you just really want to try a lot of new makeup like I do. So if you're new here, hi, my name is Vivian. I'm a robotics engineer with a love for all things beauty and makeup related. I love trying new makeup. I also don't want to be over consuming, so I have a video going up after this one that is going to be like a Sephora shop with me, a Sephora sale shop with me, I should say. So I go through everything that's like new in Sephora, what's in my cart, go through that, narrow that down a little bit. But one thing that I just want to mention overall is that I know my collection is a little bit larger than the average consumer. I'm aware of that, but I also never want to be over consuming, buying too many things that there is just no way for me to finish all of them. I know my collection is a little bit out there, like I know that it's still quite large, but I do like to think that I have a pretty curated collection to what I like, and especially in the more recent years, I've made a conscious effort to not just buy the new trendy thing and to really think about my purchases. Because of that, I do think that these products that I have here are all really good and really thoroughly tested in my collection, and they're just products that I love and would recommend all the time. So if you're in the market for a new product, these are really, really good ones. With that being said, let's just hop into it. Let's start with a couple of skincare things. I don't have a ton of skincare that I would super recommend. I have a lot of K-beauty skincare that I love and use a little bit more consistently. I also have a little bit more of some affordable skincare that I typically use, but there are a few products that are higher end that I really like, that if you can get a discount on, this would be a good time to pick it up. So the first thing is the Tower 28 SOS spray. I have raved about this for several months now. I really feel like it helps prevent acne. For me, I have really oily skin. Like by midday, I'm an oil slick. I need to blot. But because of that, I am also very acne prone, and I especially get a lot of the like deep, painful under the skin acne. And I also get like a lot of little micro acnes, like little bumps and stuff everywhere. But the one product that I have really noticed a difference with is the SOS spray that has hypochlorous acid in it. And if you don't know, hypochlorous acid is kind of like a bacteria killer. So I spray this once a day, usually. I have this. I've tried other hypochlorous acid sprays, and this is the one that I keep going back to. This one is just so good. I genuinely feel a difference in my skin from using this versus using a different hypochlorous acid. This is just the most effective, and for the Sephora sale, I am planning on picking up the big guy, the jumbo guy of the refill, because I love this so much. I cannot see myself without this product anymore. It really is just so good and really helps me with my acne. Another product that I want to talk about, and kind of a brand in general, is Dew. This specific product is the Instant Angel Lipid Rich Facial Moisturizer. I think Dew has some really great formulations. This is a little bit of a heavier moisturizer, but even on my oily skin, I really feel like it does a good job of hydrating my skin without making me feel super oily. For me, I typically go in with this like when it gets a little bit colder, when my skin is starting to feel a little bit more dry, or when I have some really intense like dry patches, especially from acne that is like healing dry patches around it. I think this does a really good job of helping minimize those and also hydrating my skin. A lighter weight like moisturizer for oily skin, I really like the Dew Air Angel Hydrating Gel Cream. These two moisturizers are some of the best products in my collection. I also love the Deliverance Serum, which I have finished up a full size of, and I might repurchase it during the Sephora sale as well because it is a pricey product. I do want to try and get a discount discount on that where I can. The Tower SOS spray paired with the Deliverance serum has done wonders for my skin, and I feel like my skin has been a little bit more noticeably breaking out once I finished up the Dew Deliverance serum. So I might pick that up again as well. But Dew's line in general is really good, really well formulated. There's no fragrance in it, so it's safe for sensitive skin, and I have nothing but good things to say about the brand in general. That is everything kind of skincare wise. I feel like I have a lot of skincare, but a lot of it, like I said, is K-beauty, or they're just like holy grail products that I keep repurchasing. So I don't have anything else really to promote. In terms of skincare, I have a ton of makeup goodies here though, and I'm gonna try to go in order of application. So the first thing I wanna mention, I have 2 different primers here. I have a more oil controlling primer, and then I have a glowy primer. So the oil controlling primer I have is from Danessa Myricks. This is the Yummy Skin Water Powder Serum. I feel like this does a great job of mattifying my face, keeping my oils at bay throughout the day, and just kind of blurring a little bit. So I love this. I notice a massive difference in my makeup and my skin when I use this underneath my makeup versus when I don't. Like, even right now, I had to blot right before this video, and I've only had this makeup on for like a couple of hours. What time is it? Like not even 7. So I've only had this makeup on for 3 hours, and I had to blot so much just with how oily my skin gets. Whereas when I put this on, I can last like a full work day without feeling the need to blot. So I think this is a great product. I really like this. The packaging of it is kind of funny too. You press this bottom part to dispense product, and you don't need a lot. You only need like a couple of drops. So I feel like this would last you a really long time as well. Why did my lights just die? That's so weird. Why did they just do that? I don't know what just happened there. The other product I want to mention is the Say Glowy Super Gel. This is a more glowy primer for my glowy primer lovers, but this is a gel consistency, so I feel like it absorbs really quickly. It doesn't make me feel greasy throughout the day. There are a lot of glowy primers that I feel like are just too oily, don't really last that well on my skin throughout the day. This one specifically is in the shade Sun Glow, which is a little bit of a tanner, more bronzy shade. Sometimes when I don't feel like putting on a ton of makeup, or if I'm just like running out of the house, need something on my face, I will just put this on and I will feel more put together. My skin will look nice and hydrated. It's not super like glittery either. It just really leaves a pretty like sheen to the skin. So I think this is a great option as well. This is a little mini size of it, but I think the mini for me and my collection will last me a really long time. So I don't feel like I need the full size version, but I would buy the full size version if my collection was a lot smaller. I don't have a ton of complexion products to go through. I have 2 foundations here in various finishes. The first lightweight foundation is the Summer Fridays Sheer Skin Tint. I have mine in the shade 4, and I love this so much. I feel like this does such a good job of evening out my skin tone. The shade 4 is a really good shade match for me. My skin feels hydrated without getting greasy throughout the day. That's a very big thing for me. My skin is so oily, and a lot of skin tints tend to be too glowy too much, and this one is not that. Like, it really dries down and absorbs into the skin, and it looks beautiful throughout the day. So highly recommend this. I've talked about this for years now. It's one of my favorite complexion products, especially in the summertime. I just think it's a really good product, and I thoroughly enjoy this whenever I use it. For something a little bit more high coverage, I really like the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I have mine in the shade 6, which for most of the year, this is a little bit too deep for me. So I was considering picking up a lighter shade, but honestly, I have too many foundations. I cannot justify it, but this is like one of the contenders for my wedding foundation, like wedding makeup foundation. I love the way this looks. It sits so beautifully on the skin. It doesn't get too oily throughout the day. It is an oil-free formula, and I just really like it. It's so, so pretty. I feel like this is a cult classic, and it's a cult classic for a really good reason. It is quite pricey for a foundation. This is the mini size of it, and this is $40 be like $8. So even the mini size is more than I would want to spend on a foundation, but it is that girl. Like, it is really nice and pretty and luminous without being greasy and oily. And like I've said this a couple of times already, like my face just breaks down, eats away at everything, and it doesn't do that with this. Like, this really does keep my face nice and glowy and hydrated without becoming greasy. For concealer, the only one that I really wanted to talk about is the Tower 28. I think it's the Swipe On Serum Concealer. I think this is a really good concealer just all across the board. It looks really good on my under eyes. It has a pretty good shade range. It's a good light to medium coverage depending on how you apply it. I like the doe foot of this. I have mine in the shade MDR, and I've raved about this for a really long time. It is just like an all-around really good concealer. I find myself gravitating towards this the most when I don't have a concealer that I'm actively trying to work on. Like, if I'm just getting ready, not really thinking about it, I always tend to reach for this because I love the way it looks. It applies and blends so easily, and what can I say? It's just a really good all-around concealer. For powder, the one that I really wanted to mention that I think is just so good for oily skin is the Huda Beauty Easy Bake Powder. I have mine in the shade Cherry Blossom, so I mostly use this under my eyes, but I think it does such a great job of mattifying, blurring my entire face. I really want to pick up a different shade of this in a more like skin tone shade and not the pink shade, just to use all over my face, but I noticed such a drastic difference in my nose area where I do get really oily while having this powder on there. So again, like cult classic, favorite for a reason, but a really good reason. And like I said, I really want to pick up a different shade of this, and just that's how much I like it. For bronzers, I don't have a ton. I'm not like the biggest bronzer person. So the one that I picked out is this from Say. This is the Dew Bronze. I have mine in the shade Salt. This is a little bit of a more cooler toned contour shade than a bronzer, but I love the way this applies. It blends out super easily. I love the doe foot applicator because I can just like dot it on my face, but it still blends out beautifully. This tone as well, like I said, is a little bit more cool tone, so it doesn't end up looking orange on me. I find that a lot of bronzers, because I have that olive undertone, a lot of bronzers pull orange, and so I tend to gravitate towards more neutral cool tone bronzers. I find that those look just look the best on me, and this is a really great formula. I have the blushes as well that I really enjoy. The blushes I have are in the shade Spicy, which is this like terracotta-y shade, and then Baby, which is the mini in the cool tone pink. I also love these. These are also great formulas. They blend out really easily. They're a little bit more glowy and dewy on the skin, but I don't find that they get overly dewy. I do find that they have a really good lasting power for how dewy they are. I think these are a great option as well. If you want a little bit more of a stain when it comes to your cheeks, I really like the Milk Makeup Cooling Water Jelly Tint. This one is in the shade Chill. I think this is a super fun, like unique formula. It looks like Jello, and it kind of like acts like Jello as well. This is a really pretty tint. It lasts a really long time on your skin because it is that like tint stain. The best way to apply this is to pick it up on the brush and then use the brush to apply it on your cheeks. I definitely wouldn't swipe because the texture in the formula, it just dries down too quickly for that. So you have to work insanely quickly. It is just a lot easier to apply it to a brush, pick it up on a brush, and then apply it to your cheeks. I also like this as a lip stain. So I think this is a great formula. I really like these. Definitely takes inspiration from like K-beauty, but it's really fun, and this is not something that we really see in the Western beauty market. I have a couple of brow products here, which seem maybe excessive for brow products, but something that I've talked about for a while now is the Refi Brow Sculpt. This is just my favorite brow gel for like a fluffy brow look. This one is clear. I think it does a great job of holding up my brows, and my brows stay held up throughout the day. I find that my brows, because they're so thin, they get weighed down really easily, and a lot of brow gels just don't have that hold for me. This one does. I really like it, especially if you are really into the fluffy brow look. I also have these two from Kosas and Glossier. This is the Kosas Air Brow in the shade Brown Black. This is a great kind of like everyday brow gel, just swiping through. It's super easy to apply. It doesn't get super messy. I really like this. I think it's a great formula. This is probably one of my favorite brow gels. It also has fibers in there, so it's a little bit more thickening while still providing hold, which again, my brow hairs are so thin. I really need something that like lifts them up a little bit, fills them up a little bit. This does the best job. Something that works very similar is the Glossier Boy Brow. Again, this is like a cult classic for a reason. This also has fibers in it, so it does thicken your brows a little bit. This one is not as tinted as the Kosas one, so this one is like for a little bit more of those no makeup days, but I still love it. I think it is a great option. Why does that keep happening? I'm actually gonna lose my mind. I think the Glossier Boy Brow is a great option, and something that I kind of hated when I first got this, but the more that I used it, the more that I liked it. This is from Milk Makeup. This is the Kush High Roll Brow Tint. This is what I have in my brows today, and my brows are very, very thin, like I said, but this does a great job of filling them in and lifting them, and it stays all day. This is technically a tubing formula, so I really find that my brows do not move throughout the day whatsoever. There is a bit of a learning curve because this does dispense a lot of product, and if you're not super careful, this can get super messy super quickly. But now that I've used it a couple of times, now that it's dried out a little bit, I think this is a great product and I really like it. It just takes a little bit more getting used to than like the Kosas Air Brow. I have a couple of eye things, and then the rest are going to be lip products. So for mascara, one of my most favorite mascaras is the Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. This one is in the black shade. I also have the brown shade. This is really just a great formula. I have the brown on my lashes today. I usually pair this with the Pomelo Essence mascara base because my lashes are really straight. However, this leaves my lashes looking really fluttery and really volumized, and plus with the Pomelo Essence mascara base, it does hold a nice curl as well. So love this mascara. I think it's one of my go-tos, especially when I'm not using like a K-beauty mascara. Speaking of like lashes, my lashes are at 2 different curl lengths right now because for one eye I use the Pomelo Essence mascara base and the Tower 28 mascara, and the other eye I use the Romand mascara just to like really see the difference between them. And for sure you can see that the Romand one holds such a better curl, but for a non-Asian mascara, I really like the Tower 28 one. I also have this from Freck. This is the Shadow Slide in the shade Lid Drip. This is just a shadow crayon. It's this really pretty champagne color, and I like to use this for my inner corners. I don't really do an inner corner moment a lot, but this is the prettiest like subtle champagne shade, and I just think it's beautiful. It stays for a really long time. I have no issues with this. There are a ton of eyeshadow crayons out there, like you don't need this one specifically, but I do think this is pretty and I like this as an inner corner highlight. It's kind of similarly, but not really, because this one is much more intense. This is the Danessa Myricks Twin Flames. This one is in the shade Angel Heart, and this is a really pretty duochrome liquid shadow. The way that I typically like to wear this is to just put a little bit on my inner corner. So you can see here it has this really pretty pink reflect. On my hand in person it looks very green, but on camera it looks like this really beautiful pink shift. So I love these. I think these are great. They last a really long time. They don't flake on me. Overall, just a really good formula. Really big fan. Let's get into lip products. A lot of my lip products are from the drugstore, but I wanted to pick out some that really stand out to me from being like a high-end formula. The first thing is the Refi Lip Sculpt. This one is in the shade Red. I feel like I could do better if I went for a different shade of this. The thing I wanted to mention about this is this has the longest lasting power out of all of my lip liners. Like something about this does not budge. And depending on your lip liner vibe, that could be a really good thing. For me, I typically like a little bit more of a smudged lip look, but for most lip liners, like I can get that with drugstore. This, I feel like, is one of the only lip liners that literally does not move throughout the day, does not move while you're talking. This has like a clearer part at the bottom that's supposed to lock in your lip liner. I almost never use that, but I say that I wish I had a different shade of this because the red is a little bit too intense for most days. Like I am not typically going in with a red lip liner and just like a gloss. I would prefer it if I had a little bit more of a brownie shade, but the formula itself is remarkable in my opinion. Like, it really does not move once you lay it down whatsoever, like almost to the point where you better not make a mistake, because if you do, like, it's not going anywhere. Depending on your vibe, you might really like that. I really like that, especially for like a red. Like, if I'm wearing a red lip, I don't want that to go anywhere, whereas I feel like for most days, like, it's okay if my lip fades. I'm not too concerned about it. A lip balm gloss type thing is this from Makeup by Mario. This is the Cherry Glow Plumping Lip Serum. I think this is a beautiful formula. It looks really pretty. It's really hydrating on the lips. It's also like the perfect amount of tint for me. Like, just that. You can swipe it on without a mirror. It looks beautiful. Like, there's a little bit of a tingly plumping feeling to it, but it's stunning. I love this. I would consider picking up other shades of it. I don't need other shades of it, but stunning. Really love this. A gloss formula that I've raved about forever is the Tower 28 Shine On Lip Jellies. I have 3 shades here. I have the shade Magic, which is this clear with like gold glitters in it. I have the shade Pistachio, which is this neutral mid-tone pink. And then I have the shade Spicy, which is probably my most used shade. I love these. They're so comfortable on the lips. They have a really nice pigment to them. They're not too pigmented, so even a bright color like Spicy doesn't end up looking that bold, dramatic on my lips. So I think this is a wonderful addition to my collection, and like, this is probably one of my most used lip glosses, which is crazy because this is like such a brighter shade than what I typically go for. But I think these are great formulas. I really like these. I can't get enough of them. They're one of my all-time favorite glosses, and I feel like I've raved about them for a really long time. The last thing I wanted to mention is an eyeshadow palette, which I was hesitant to pull in because I don't wear eyeshadow that often. Like, most of the time I'm just going in with an eyeshadow topper, but this is a product that I think that, okay, my box lights keep going out. I don't know what's happening. It's gone out like 10 times during the course of this video, so this is gonna have to do. This is literally just my phone flashlight because I need to finish this video and it is completely dark outside. So I was debating putting this in here because I don't wear eyeshadows a ton, but I think this palette is absolutely stunning. This is the Makeup by Mario's Master Mattes, the Neutrals palette. So these shades are a little bit more cool toned than his original Master Mattes palette, but I think this is the perfect palette for every day. Like, the neutrals in here are so well curated. I love them. Like, you have all of the shades you could possibly need. You have lid setting shades, you have transition shades, you have a little bit deeper like outer liner shades, you have a black and a really cool toned gray. I just think this is stunning, and because I typically go in with just like a lid topper type of eyeshadow, a single shadow, I think this pairs perfectly with every single one of those. Like, you really can't go wrong with these. I think this palette is stunning, and I'm glad that he came out with a more neutral variation of this because I do feel like the original was a little bit too warm for my taste. I am sorry for the spooky lights. Like, I don't know what's happening, like, because it turns back on, so it's not like completely like I'm losing power. Something is happening. Anyway, sorry for the technical difficulties. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. These are a lot of my standout products from Sephora. I definitely feel like there are a lot of really good options at the drugstore and at Ulta, so I didn't want to include these in this video just because the Sephora sale is very geared towards like higher end kind of makeup. But these are a lot of products that I think are worth the money, and if you can get them on a discount, like, all the better. I love these products. I feel like I've raved about a lot of these for a really long time, and I feel like that's what makes like a staple product, is if I've had it in my collection for a while and I'm still talking about it, I'm still recommending it. So that's how you know that these are good. I hope that this was informative. Well, you'll see, but I will put any demo clips I have of these products in the video while I'm talking about them. I hope that this is helpful for you guys and a little bit more intuitive, and to kind of gear you towards products that will work for you, especially if you're as oily as I am. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so sorry for the technical difficulties. I will try to do better. I will try to figure out what's happening because I don't know. It's like 7 o'clock and it's super dark out. I had to do this filming after work. So thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye guys.